Sharia is not just a legal code for religious courts, but a theocratic code of conduct for Muslims. It includes all of their religious obligations, including prayer 5 times a day, forcing women to cover up with a hijab or burqa, and observing religious holidays. Islam is a supremacist religion. Sharia requires non-Muslims to yield to Islam. Insofar as the school board is accommodating these theocratic religious practices and forcing other students to accept and pay special respect to them, they are implementing the basic principles of Sharia in the schools.
Yeah, I think Superintendent Martin and Cheryl and Stan as well, that part of what we need to address tonight is when we passed our resolution in April, which was actually signing off on a plan that we had asked for months prior to that. And the reason that we had asked for a plan months prior to that is, as Vice President Beiser said, because we had people from the community, including our own students, coming forward to us and saying that they were experiencing bullying, that they were not feeling safe, that they were not feeling welcomed in their own schools. Just as we have had many other groups of students over many years come forward with similar experiences. In this case, we were talking about Muslim students. And Muslim students were talking about an experience that increasingly, with the rhetoric, as Dr. Evans mentioned, they were seeing across the country that the environment was becoming more and more hostile. And the experience of Muslim students was something that we couldn't ignore. And we recognized that that what Muslim students were experiencing at this point in time in our community was not new. I talked about growing up in El Cajon in the 70s and the 80s and seeing what Muslim students were dealing with after the Iranian hostage crisis. It was very real. And the experience that we were hearing from our Muslim students today were in some ways different, but in some ways harken back to some really dark periods in the history of this community. And so we moved forward with a plan to try to address issues that our students and our communities were bringing forward to us. We did it in a way that's consistent with the approach that this district has been taking for many years. As Vice President Beiser talked about, our partnership with the Anti-Defamation League is more than a decade old. Our partnership with community organizations, including the Council of American Islamic Relations, has existed for many years, as it has with many other committed community organizations that are concerned about the well-being of our young people. What it wasn't was the way that some people were choosing to portray it. This was not about promoting a religion. Never was.
Barrera is misrepresenting the facts here. These 2 slides are from their presentation when they approved this measure last April. Actually, they stated in this presentation that they wanted to enable staff to advocate for Muslim culture. They also stated that they wanted to promote the American Muslim culture.
This was certainly not about promoting Sharia law, as we heard some people choose to mischaracterize our approach. And in fact, the more that we heard that kind of characterization of a program that was consistent with providing support and teaching tolerance to all students from all backgrounds and all experiences being mischaracterized in that way, simply, as these comments would suggest, simply clarified the experience that our Muslim students are going through every day. If we were going to hear that as a school board, we knew that our kids were hearing a lot worse. And so, because of that kind of rhetoric, and because of the mischaracterization of a policy that has always been about all kids, but has also always been about recognizing that when certain groups of kids need a special level of support, that this district has always been there and will always be there for those kids. And you can shout, and you can express hate, and you can do everything that you choose to do. But when we know that our students deal with that, we're going to step up as a unified community to protect our students. And so, to clarify, I support this policy, I support this resolution, this recommendation coming forward from the superintendent, because it expresses the values that this district has held dear for many, many years. It expresses the values of this community.
Because you're going to be hauled in front of a court. You're going to lose in front of a court.
And therefore, we move forward as a unified community in support of all of our students, including our Muslim students. We are against Islamophobia. We are for tolerance, and we support this policy as an expression of those values. Thank you. Please vote. Thank you. Okay, we are going to now move forward with item E3.
I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Hiblam and Mr. Anjan for presenting.
I'd like to move item E3.
Okay. Second.